Thank you for joining me today while I deliver my speech about concussions in the NFL. This is a major concern in the game of football because so many players suffer from concussions in the professional league and in youth leagues as well. And a concussion is an injury to the brain that results in a temporary loss of brain function, and this results from any blow or hit that is taken to the head, and it causes the brain to smack your skull, and it causes bruising, and that is what leads to the brain damage. And in many cases, when the injury occurs, there aren't any external damages or any signs of trauma available to see. It's all internally, and that is why there's such a big concern about it, because they're hard to detect right away unless your trainers or coaching staffs know the symptoms. And leading into that, the symptoms can resolve around headache, fatigue, any type of feeling of a pressure. It's like a constant pressure that you feel on your brain or in your head. You can have a temporary loss of consciousness on the sudden impact. Many players, after taking the blow, may lay on the field appearing to be knocked out. Amnesia about the event. Many players will be asked questions about, do you remember what happened? And they're clueless of the event, and that is because of the brain being hit so hard against the skull. Ringing in the ears, it sounds like this constant bell is just being going off in your ear, and that can be because of the area that the head was hit. If your head was hit in the ear, an ear hole hit in football, then that's going to cause that ringing, which is very tedious and annoying. Throwing up, that's a common one. Many players, after being taken off the field, or even during, while they're on the field, will experience throwing up from the blow that they have taken. Slurred speech. While players are being asked questions off the side of the field about how they're feeling, what they experienced, their speech may be slurred, meaning they just aren't going to sound the same. It may be slow, and if you are asking them any questions, their responses may be delayed with that slur as well. Now, these symptoms are a major concern, obviously, especially when players get sent back out onto the field, even when they're experiencing these symptoms. And that's just the uneducated part of this injury, because it is so hard to really help players out with it. It's hard to find a solution to fix it. And one of the biggest concerns is the long-term symptoms that can happen, and that can lead to memory complaints. People are complaining about memory loss, not just about the event, but in general, forgetting maybe past birthday parties or past family gatherings. Personality change can come just because of wherever they get hit in the brain. It could be in a certain spot that really changes who they are. They could become more angry, they could be more depressed, and depression is one of the major concerns as well, as it can lead to suicidal thoughts in worst cases. Sensitivity to light and noise, walking into a room that is very light out, or even the sun beating down on them, it could be sensitive to their eyes, which will lead to that pressure in the head again. Sleep disturbances, many people suffer from a sleep disturbance, meaning it's hard for them to sleep. They might still feel that constant pressure, or it's hard for them really to lay down and relax. Disorder of taste and smell, it's not a common one, and it's kind of a weird one, but it just really messes up your whole system. But one of the biggest concerns, and it was expressed in Will Smith's Concussion movie, is the chronic traumatic disorder, which is CTE. And that is really the biggest concern, because there's no real cure for it except rest and really opening up to others, and that's what leads to these suicidal thoughts or just anything else like that. It feels like something is just not right in your system. Preventions are one of the biggest things the league has really put into consideration. One of the biggest things is these new flexible helmets, and right on the crown of the helmet, like right here, is if you take a hit to the head, it's supposed to absorb the hit, kind of like a cushion to protect the head. And it's not perfect. People are still going to get concussions, but it really is helping with the numbers going down, which is a big thing, a big plus. They've applied more rules and penalty flags out on the field regarding hits to the head, Anything from here and up is regarded as a head-to-head hit. It's player endangerment, and it's at risk of a suspension or even ejection from the game. And they've also encouraged players to, when they're receiving the kickoff, instead of running it back, they've encouraged them to take the knee and just take the extra 20-25 yards that they're granted at the end of that. They're considering putting in a new type of turf that underneath the turf is going to have a layer of padded, and that's just going to lead for when players are smacking down on the turf, there'll be an extra layer of cushion for them to kind of help absorb the hit along with their helmets. And then one of the big concerns for the youth is that they're putting coaches through concussion training programs, and they're re-evaluating the way they should teach young players to tackle, because those young people are the ones who are entering the professional league later. And that is a big prevention that is really going on nowadays. Awareness, along with prevention, awareness has really come up, especially in the youth program, because like I said before, those are our players that are leading to the NFL. So many groups of moms, is a big one in youth leagues, are putting together groups for concussion awareness to help lead to better tackling skills, to help those who are suffering from concussions, and just make it more aware about what this injury can cause and how has it affected many people. In 1994, the NFL actually put together a mild traumatic brain injury committee, and this is a committee that was really set out to think about the concussion issue, to think about not only that, but other injuries sustained to the head or the neck region, because they can be so serious. I mean, players who are taking hits to the neck can become paralyzed even, and there goes their career. The reason for this is to bring the number of concussions down in the game. You're never going to completely eliminate the concussion from the game of football, or for many sports for that matter, but you certainly can make an effort, a prevention, bring awareness to bringing them down, the number, and that's really what the goal is. That, and just knowing when to diagnose them. Many players have suffered a concussion and been set right back onto the field because of they're unaware of that they have a concussion, and really putting trainers and coaches and also fellow players through these programs to help notify help notice when a concussion's going on, and help them keep their players off the field, to help them rest and get this concussion resolved. Because as scary as those symptoms are, the long-term symptoms are a lot scarier, and because that's the rest of your life. And just the movie Will Smith, Concussion, that was a big thing that kind of put some fire under the NFL to really put more awareness out for these concussions, because many past players have been losing their lives due to suicide. They just can't take it anymore because of this pressure that's in their head and the depressive thoughts they're getting. So really, concussions, they're a serious thing. So we all really need to remember how serious they are, and we all need to take in consideration this prevention and awareness that the NFL is bringing up, and we need to carry that into our youth programs, because not only is it big that our NFL players are protected, but it's big that our youth players are protected as well, because they are the future of football, they are the future of sports, and it would be horrible to have these young players suffering from these long-term symptoms. So I appreciate you watching this with me, and I hope you kind of look at concussions in a new way and help bring awareness as well. So thank you for watching.